By 2025, 50% of large organizations are perceived to adopt privacy-enhancing computation techniques to process large data in untested environments and of course in multi-party analytics use cases. Yes, I'm talking about confidential computing, and today's episode we're going to focus on what confidential computing is all about. Hi everyone, welcome to TGIF, another Friday, another episode. In today's episode, as I said earlier, we're going to focus on confidential computing. And yes, it is all about enhancing privacy by protecting data in use. Yes, it is about data in use, and let me decipher that for you. If you look at the data protection life cycle, as you see on the screen right now, we all understand when it comes to securing data at rest and in transit, right? Encryption at rest and encryption technology when it comes to transport-less security. But what about data in use? Confidential computing is all about protecting data when it's being used, right? So if you look at the bottom, you see the technologies that you dominantly use to secure data at rest and in transit. But when it comes to data in use, we talk about trusted execution environments being created, and thanks to a collaboration with Intel, it's a hardware-based offering today. For better understanding, if you look at this visual right now, when it comes to running applications, right, the code and data loads up in memory. Now, how do we ensure nobody sneaks into the memory, right? That's where data is being used. That's where it is clear text. That's the area where we're talking about when it comes to confidential computing. That's the area you need to secure, right? Moment data leaves the secure enclave, it is encrypted. Within the enclave, it will be decrypted, right? So, quick example here, when it comes to multi-party I would say consortium data exchange. Let's take this example. 3 hospitals are trying to share data. Today, if you look at a hospital, when they want to build, let's say, a machine learning model, right? They deal with their data. How about solving for the larger benefit of society? Can hospitals collaborate, exchange clinical data? Can you build a ML model which is built around data that's been contributed by multiple hospitals, an example? So this is where the secure enclave plays such a critical role, where data sharing happens without each hospital looking at each other's data, right? The model gets trained within the enclave, and recipients of that algorithm would be the hospital. So this is a classic evidence of how multi-party data source exchange happens, and thanks to secure enclave here, right? A quick demo before we move on. So as you see on the screen right now, by the way, I've set up Azure SQL database secure enclave in the cloud. I'm firing a simple query. Now, look what happens. Right now, the intent is not to show PII data to anybody who's going to query, right? As you see on the screen right now, the salary and social security number data is encrypted, right? Because the data has left the enclave, it is encrypted. Of course, if you are in the enclave, that means the program acting on the data will see clear text, right? A classic evidence of how confidential computing make a huge difference to, I would say, BFSI, government services dominantly when it comes to data handling, okay? Let's look at some of the common use cases across industry verticals. The biggest beneficiaries are these 3 verticals, which is government, FSI and healthcare, right? These are the areas where there is maximum presence of PII information. This is where you have to look at how do you protect privacy of individuals and the data, and this is where you'll actually start leveraging the power of confidential computing. Okay, so what we saw so far is what is confidential computing. That means it's all about protecting data in use, and right now it's a hardware-based trusted execution environment, which is what we will build to ensure the data in use is protected from intrusion that happens while application is acting upon the data. Yeah, it's all about enhancing privacy, and this is where confidential computing comes in handy. And today, if you want to try it out, Azure confidential computing capability is available. In fact, a simple example I showed was database, and you can absolutely spin off an Azure SQL database and enable a secure enclave in that database so that you can see to believe it, right? So I'm going to post a short URL as I end this talk, and that's where you can actually go ahead and check out and learn more about Azure confidential computing. With that, thank you so much for joining me today. Have a wonderful Friday and a great weekend. Bye-bye.